I am back. I've had a few weeks off due to work just getting too much, and I've had to really concentrate on my business, which is good, but also means I've sort of neglected this channel, so sorry about that. I'm gonna sort of pick it back up where I left off with some best bits and travel advice. I'm sticking with the Californian vibe as I love it over there. We've looked at LA, we've looked at San Francisco. Now I want to look at the national parks across California. Now I haven't done them all, but I've done a few, and these ones are ones that you need to do. Now, kicking it off with the parks in California that I know you guys need to go and see and check out. I'm gonna start small, and then we're gonna build our way up. Now, starting off at number one, it's not a national park, it is a national forest, I believe, and it is called Muir Woods, or Muir Woods as I kept on referring to it. Now, Muir Woods is a redwood sequoia forest, so it features some of the biggest trees that you would have probably seen. So Muir Woods is based north of San Francisco. What you'd need to do is stay on highway number 1 over the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, which is amazing. Straight past Sausalito, keep going on the 1 and you will go into Muir Woods National Monument, or National Park, National Forest, National something. It was $10 to get in, which I think is very reasonable considering the cost of everything else around California. You can spend as long as you want there, or as least as you want there. Weekends are busy, but you can get away from people if you don't just stay on the boardwalks. If you haven't seen sequoia trees or redwood trees before, I mean, they are incredible. It's not one of the biggest national forests around the area, but it's definitely one of the best. Muir Woods is a must do if you're in San Francisco and you've got an extra day and you're just not quite sure what to do. The second place on my list, the second national park down south, around 4 hours outside of LA, you have Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park. Starting with Kings Canyon, this is now one of my favourite places I've ever been. The scenery is just incredible. Now, at the end of the Kings Canyon Highway, there is something that you must go and see. To be honest, it's the only thing you should do there. You should drive all the way through the Kings Canyon Highway, get to the end, park your car, and then get ready for an amazing experience. You need to go and do Mist Falls. So Mist Falls is about a 4-hour hike, and it is well worth the 4 hours. If you walk up to the top without looking back, you will get the biggest surprise when you get up there. The other good thing about the Kings Canyon is the wildlife is in abundance. You've got the option to see bears, snakes, birds, whatever you sort of want. We saw plenty of snakes when we were there, which is really cool. Obviously, be careful because there are rattlesnakes and they are lethal. Benefits of doing Mist Falls is you're going to see an incredible waterfall. The main crux of it, it's all about the view, and when you're in that canyon, it is just breathtaking. The Kings Canyon is linked and is very close to Sequoia National Park, which is very similar to Muir Woods, but bigger, and I'm gonna say better. Muir Woods is great if you're in San Francisco, but if you've got a choice between the two, hit Sequoia National Park. It is just even more breathtaking. In Sequoia National Park, they do have the world's largest tree. I believe is done on like circumference rather than like the actual height of it. The tree is massive. It's a bit quieter than other places. It's still busy. Around the big trees, it is very busy. However, there are multiple hikes and treks and walks you can go on around the Sequoia National Park area. Not that far away from the main car parks, and around these areas there are bears. We went off on a walk and about 20 foot in front of us they just walked out on the track. It was a mother and 2 cubs. Literally the best wildlife experience I've ever had. It was just incredible, and they are incredible. Obviously keep your distance because they are bears. So number 3 is technically my number one, and probably the one you've all heard of, and that is Yosemite National Park. It's amazing. Yosemite is massive, absolutely massive. There is so much to do in Yosemite. It's worth traveling just to go and see Yosemite National Park. If you're like, oh, I want to go to California, what should I go see? Shove the cities. Don't even worry about them, just go to Yosemite National Park. The first point of call, you're probably going to be driving there, head towards Glacier Point. Glacier Point is a viewpoint, basically, it's in the name. You will just see the main crux of the valley, and it is incredible. Link to Glacier Point if you are all about viewpoints and you don't want to do one of the massive hikes. You want to head to Sentinel Dome, which is a slight mountain just up from Glacier Point, and from there you will get a higher perspective view of Yosemite National Park. You can see everything. You may have heard of Half Dome, which is the big mountain inside Yosemite National Park. You're looking at around 2,694 meters, or around 8,800 foot, and wow. Recommended amount of time that it would take you to hike up to the top of Half Dome is about 10 to 12 hours. Long day. That is obviously there and back, so it's about 6 hours each way. When we did it, we got up really early because we wanted to try and catch sunrise. We hiked all the way up to the top. Now, to do that, you do need to get a permit, which you need to apply for online. It's done on a lottery system. There's only a certain amount of permits per day, and there's a couple of ways to get around that if you are not a winner. If you camp up halfway, I don't know what the campsite is because I didn't do it, but we spoke to some people that if you camp halfway, you actually get a permit as part of the camping pass, or depends on what time you get up to the top of the mountain. There's not a ranger there all the time. No further comment on that one. The hike is long, but it is brilliant. You can walk across Vernon Falls, which is one of the waterfalls along Half Dome, and that is in itself amazing. So some people just hike up to that sort of point, and that's going to probably take you about 2.5 to 3 hours depending on your fitness levels. And then if you want to go any further than that, you can do Quarter Dome, you can do Half Dome, which is technically Full Dome, but depends on how you want to look at it. If you're in the Yosemite area, before you go in, depending on what way you come up, you could stop off at Base Lake. That's pretty cool, and that's literally just on the outskirts of Yosemite. Or if you're actually in Yosemite and you want to go over to the other side, if you don't want to drive all the way around, there is a shortcut over the top called Tioga Pass. It is not open all year round due to snow, but if you get over to the other side, you've got places like Mammoth Lakes, Bodie's Ghost Town, some really wicked things to go and see on the other side of Yosemite. That is my quick roundup on national parks, national forests and adjacent in California. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell thing as well to get your notifications of when my next one's coming out, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.